Yo, what's going on, everybody? How y'all doing today? Thank y'all for tuning in to another D.E.F Fitness live stream. Thank y'all. I'm sorry for the delay. Sorry for taking so long. I had to get a few things taken care of. It took longer than expected, but we here now. So greatly appreciate y'all for tuning in. We got a nice little show for y'all lined up today. And your boy had to make him a little bit of coffee this morning because I was feeling. But yeah, excuse me. Ooh. Thank y'all so much for being here. As always, just know that we are live streaming. And we are live streaming on Twitch, Kick, and YouTube. We'll be adding more in the future, coming up soon. If you're on YouTube, do me a favor, hit that like button that you see. It's going to pop up right there. Go ahead and hit that like button before we get the algorithm out, and drop a follow. If you're on Twitch and Kick, drop a follow as well. I greatly appreciate it. Feel free to comment. And also, if you're feeling that you like the valuable content that we bring here today, then go ahead and right there, go ahead and hit that Cash App and Venmo to yours truly. Really appreciate it, but not needed. But thank you so much. I greatly appreciate y'all. Let's see, how do you doing that? Oh, okay. Background music. Which background music are you talking about? You hear background music? I don't hear any background music. What do you mean background music? You mean these? Is that what you're talking about? Background music? Because I don't hear any background music. So do you still hear background music? Because I don't hear anything. Okay, yeah, said no. So I guess we're good. So far, so good. Well, hold on, let me double check that just to make sure, just so we won't be. Let me see. It's still playing? You still hear Jazz Cafe music playing? How about now? Do you still hear the music? How about now? Check me out right now. Is the music still on? Because it said song 2. So I'll turn that down right there. Because I don't hear any music. I don't have any music going on right now. But it could have been something playing in the background on my end. But let me know if you still hear it or not. I just muted something just to make sure that it was off, because it seemed like there was something in the tinge background playing, but I think we're good now. But let me know just to double check and make sure if you hear anything still, if you still hear any kind of music in the background, because I don't hear anything. I don't hear anything at all on my end. But if you still hear it, please let me know so I can fix that and get that taken care of pronto. But anyhow, let's go ahead and get started. Of course, we gotta, let me fix this chair because this chair got me rocking back and forth. I'm gonna fall asleep on y'all while I'm doing this show. So for the first topic, of course, we're gonna hop into our fitness. We got fitness going on. We got our dark humor, of course. We got the economy as a topic. In the economy, I got something kind of special for y'all. We're gonna talk about, there's a little bitty documentary that I had found. We're not gonna go over the whole thing, but just like a nice little piece of it. It's called, I think it's called All Wars or Bankers Wars, if I believe that's the correct name of it. We're going to give a little bit of topic about that to get people to understand the history and understand how the economy actually works and give you understanding of the structure of the economy. And then we're going to jump into our final segment, which is AI, understand how the artificial intelligence is working and how it's going to be moving on toward the future and how everything is going to be looking and what you should do to prepare, if you should utilize it in your day-to-day actions and all that good stuff. But you know how we do here. So without further ado, hopefully you don't hear any background music. Let me just double check. Do you still hear any background music there, sir? I just want to make sure we're good. And as a matter of fact, since you were doing me a good favor, let me go ahead and hit you with that good old, yeah. Hit you with that right there. Bam. Greatly appreciate you. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get into our first segment. Our first segment is going to be, like I said, fitness. Let me make sure I pull up the right thing here because, yeah, I could be pulling up the wrong thing. Here we go. Let me see. Should we start with this one? Yeah, I think we should start with this one.
That's an 11-foot.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and start with this one right here. So we're gonna start with our first one. This one's gonna be this dude doing a vertical jump, which is gonna be a really insane vertical, might I add. Let's go ahead and check out this gentleman right here, because you know we got to show the good and the bad. You know, we can't always be bad all the time. We also got to show some of the good as well. So let's go ahead and check out this gentleman here who's got a vertical jump, and I think the height he's really short. Well, not really short, but he's shorter than usual, but his vertical is insane. So let's go ahead and check this out real quick. All right, so we got this guy right here. I don't know his name. Is his name on here? Fit Life Yard. This athlete. His name is the 98 Beast. That's his IG, the 1998 Beast. But let's go ahead and check out what this guy can do. So here we go. Let's roll the footage.
That's an 11-foot tall pull-up bar. This athlete just jumped up and grabbed with ease, which is super impressive. But meanwhile, the guy behind him can't seem to believe his eyes. And what he says next will make this whole moment much more special. A standard basketball hoop is 10 feet high, so just let that sink in.
Ooh, that was nice. That was nice. Let's go ahead and run that one more time. Let's see how he levitated. Look at that. For a brief moment, he was levitating. Look at that. It's 11 feet high. I don't know how tall he is. I said he was short earlier, but he's probably not short. He could be like the standard 6 feet. He might be 5 something, but not too shot from 6 foot. But just look at the way he grabbed that bar. It's like a brief levitation. The bug in front of me.
But meanwhile, the guy behind him can't seem to believe his eyes. And what he says next will make this whole moment.
And then he's got the calisthenics down, the way he's carrying his weight. That is really impressive.
Basketball hoop is 10 feet high, so just let that.
Whew, that was a impressive feat of a vertical jump. So let's go ahead and give this man a round of applause. Because that was nice. The way he got up there, it looked like he was levitating for a brief moment. Like, look at this. Just look.
An 11-foot tall pull-up bar.
That's
this athlete
crazy.
Just jumped up.
Look how high he is from the ground. He didn't even grab it yet, but look how high he is from the ground. This dude is standing. Look at that. And that was a standing jump. That wasn't even a run and jump. That was a standing. That's impressive. That's hella impressive.
Which is super impressive. But meanwhile, the guy behind him can't seem to believe his eyes. And what he says next.
Standing jump. Look, he just stood there. Look at this.
That's an 11-foot tall pull-up bar. This athlete just jumped up and grabbed.
Man, that is phenomenal. That is unreal. That's completely unreal. I'm really am impressed by that. That was really nice, man. Like, wow, to have that feat of athleticism to jump that high. I don't know if he plays any sports or anything like that.
Can't seem to believe his eyes. And what he says next will
I have no clue.
Moment much more special. A standard basketball hoop is 10 feet high, so just let that sink in.
The standard basketball hoop is 10 feet high, so he jumped a foot over a basketball hoop, just standing still and jumping up. Yeah. That's crazy impressive. And if he's not in any sports, man, get that dude into some sports and get him on a contract and get that man paid for that athleticism, because you can't just let that go to waste. Not at all. Not at all. So shout out to him for doing that right there. Now let's go ahead and move on to our next one. Let's see what we got here. So the next one we have is somebody who is doing a, what do you call this workout? I think it's a power clean he's doing. I believe it's a power clean. Let me see here. Let's get this pulled up again, because I keep messing up my tabs. So we got a dude right here who's doing a power clean. Now, I'm not the one to show anything like violent or anything on here, so this is gonna look bad, but just know that he is okay. You know, dude is okay. He ain't hurt. He ain't injured, but he does do this power clean, and of course, it doesn't go 100% the way he plans it to. But let's just go ahead and take a look at it and see how it turns out. So let's go. Let me go ahead and pull this. What the hell is this on my screen? Oh, okay, we'll pull that back. All right, let's go ahead and pull this up and let's go ahead and check this man out. So let me get this up real quick. All right, so here we go. We got a dude right here getting ready to do it clean, and let's see how it pans out. Here we go.
Yeah.
He's okay.
Yeah.
Homeboy in the back. One was surprised in the black shirt. He was shocked, but the other dude with his shirt off, he like grabbed his shorts like, oh. Look, look at him back there. Look at him back. Yikes. That didn't look like it felt too good. That looked pretty painful. So I mean, shout out to him for giving it an attempt. But yeah, that looked very painful. I mean, he even said, yeesh. He knew that one hurt. Whew. Like, ouch. I don't know how much weight that was, but the way it clunked down on his legs, that seemed like it really hurt. Like, that did not look like it felt good at all. At all. No, don't like the video. What is going on? Stop that. All right, so the next one we got here. Let's see. So the next one we have is going to be... Jesus, all this stuff going on is driving me crazy. So the next one we got here, sorry about that, is we got... someone who was at a gym. And... I don't understand what the language is. It's a different language here, but we're just going to check out what he sees or what's going on at their gym. So it could be like a Planet Fitness in a different country, because you know how Planet Fitness is here. It's ridiculous. So we're going to see what's going on here, and let's check it out. Here we go. Roll the foot. Why'd I like the video? And roll the foot. I'm talking about it. I just spit it at the basic. You know, really want to have to run up, turn to face it. Let me run it again. Let me take the music out in case they give me a copyright on this one. So let's see what we have here. I don't understand what that... I don't know what language that is. I don't know. If anybody know what language that is, please drop something in the comment and let me know. But something about something, gym number 3. And let's see what we got here. First person. They go for it. He goes for the failure. Bam. Falls clean off. This one. He ain't even get the weight up. He fell all the way down, which I think was a smart move on his behalf. The way he dropped all the way down, knowing that would catch it, smart move. And they just made it worse with that one. That didn't help at all. So yeah, that's what we got there for that one. I mean, nothing too crazy, but you know. In the gym, be safe out there. Don't get yourself hurt. Don't be trying to do ego lifts and trying to show everybody how strong you are, especially when you're doing bench press, man. Go get you a spotter. Have someone stand over you and spot you. You know, don't be trying to do all the show that you're super strong. I mean, we get it that you're strong, but you can also be strong and still get hurt. So please don't be out there trying to prove that you're superhuman strength, but at the end of the day, it's not even benefiting you at all to be that strong for whatever reason if you're just gonna hurt yourself. So we got this next person here who is this dude right here, which is weird. I don't understand how this even like could happen, but he's on a squat rack, and let's check out and see what happens to him on the squat rack. All right, so let's go ahead and get this pulled up and let's check it out and see what happens to this guy on a squat rack. All right, so you see here, he's got it. He's going to put it up. Roll the footage. Okay, needless to say, it's weird how that even happened. Like, I've never seen this type of, I don't know what you call this, accident or whatever. Because usually, if one side falls off, the other side is bound to fall, or it's just going to be like a nasty fall whatsoever. But the way it rolled down on his leg, it was weird. Look at this. That's strange that even happened. Even the dudes over here, they're confused. Those two guys behind them, they're like, how did that even happen? Like, it's confusing, to say the least. Like, look at it. Like, what is the chances of that happening? Like, really? Like, you don't even, and then the little squat thing. If you look at the clip up here, this even moves. Look how it moves. Like, it almost fell out completely. It almost fell out completely. He's not even seeing that happen. That's wild. That is wild, man. But shout out to him. We got to give him a round of applause simply for just not getting hurt. So clap to him. Thank the Lord he didn't get hurt. We're greatly appreciated. We're glad he's in the gym working out, but we're even more glad that he did not get hurt, because that could have went a whole lot worse. A whole lot worse. I mean, a whole lot worse. And it didn't. He caught a break. So we're happy for him. So shout out to him and what he's doing. Now we've got our infamous place, Planet Fitness. Now, you know we couldn't make it this far without talking about something going on at Planet Fitness, because there's always some debauchery happening at Planet Fitness. Good morning, Moki. How you doing? Good morning. Good morning. So of course, Planet Fitness has some debauchery going on. It never fails. It never fails. But let's see what kind of nonsense is happening in Planet Fitness today, and how and why and what is going on. So let me go ahead and pull this up and let's roll the footage and see what debauchery is going on at Planet Fitness. So as you see here, it says, bro really got stuck at Planet Fitness. Roll the footage.
You're gonna have to let go of one hand. You gonna catch me? I'm gonna try. Please promise you're gonna catch me. No, wrap your foot around the pole, both of them. Okay? Now, both of them, the other way. No, cross them in front of you. Cross them in front of you. Cross them in front of you. Cross them in front of you, man. Okay. You gotta clasp your legs in front of you, bro. Cross your legs in front of you. Cross them around the pole. In front of you. No, just slide down. Slide down.
Oh no. What is, why did you even go up there, man? Why, how, what in the world did he do? Why was he even up there? I don't understand. But one thing he did say, though, is listen to this. If you hear him, he goes, Joe, bro, jump. He goes, are you going to catch me? He said, I'm going to try. He shouldn't have said, I'm going to try. He should have said, yes, I will catch you. At least with that more confidence. Because clearly, I mean, number one, how and why did he go up there? And then number two, if you're afraid of heights, why would you even put yourself in that situation? Which makes zero sense whatsoever. But it's Planet Fitness. It's Planet Fitness. You always got some craziness going on in Planet Fitness for some reason. They have a lot of footage of all the craziness going on. But when he said this, listen.
I'm gonna try.
Are you gonna catch me? I'm gonna try.
You gonna catch me? I'm gonna try. Please promise you're gonna catch me. No, wrap your foot around the pole, both of them. Okay? Now, both of them.
You gonna catch me? I'm gonna try. I can't guarantee you nothing.
Cross in front of you. Cross in front of you.
Now right here, he could have just slid down. Because he's got on long sleeves and stuff. He could have slid down the pole, pause, and he wouldn't have got like no burns or nothing. He would have been fine. But to think about it, he had a serious grip on that pole because he did not budge. Look at him.
You gotta clasp your legs in front of you, bro.
See, look. He's slowly going down, but then he climbs back up.
In front of you. No, just slide down. Slide down.
Somebody sets off the lunk alarm. And they should. This idiot's up there on the pole. What are you doing? What idiot. Why would you do something like that? I mean, and who knows? This could be a skit. This could be... It could be a skit. It could be just some idiots in the gym trying to do something for, you know, likes and views and comments or whatnot. But I don't know. I mean, there's no reason for him to be up there. But what he did remind me of on this part, though, if you listen, right here, listen.
You gonna catch me? I'm gonna try.
Yeah. Okay, so he does need a ladder. Get that man a ladder. When he said, "Are you gonna catch me? I'm gonna try." This is what it reminded me of. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Hopefully it doesn't make. Oh gosh darn it! It's gonna show a thing. It reminded me of this movie. There's a movie that had a scene like this, kind of like this, but this is what it reminded me of. Let's see if y'all know this movie right here. So look at this part. Look at this scene in this movie. Hopefully they don't give me a flag for this one. But this is what this reminded me of when he says, "Are you gonna catch me?" This is what this made me think about. Watch this.
Come on. How the fuck is I supposed to get down from here? Jump. I'ma catch you. Man, you ain't gonna catch me. Nigga, you better jump before I shoot you down. What you think? I'm gonna jump off here and end up like Christopher Reeves? Nigga, come on. Book, I'm telling you, I'ma jump, but you better not let me hurt myself. Jump! Jump!
Oh no, you can't see it. Oh man, my bad. Let me pull it up again. I'm sitting here watching the whole thing without you. Okay, here we go. Show it one more time. This is what this reminded me of, this movie right here. When he said, "Are you gonna catch me?" I'm gonna try. This is what this made me think about.
Come on. How the fuck is I supposed to get down from here? Jump. I'ma catch you. Man, you ain't gonna catch me. Nigga, you better jump before I shoot you down. What you think? I'm gonna jump off here and end up like Christopher Reeves? Nigga, come on. Book, I'm telling you, I'ma jump, but you better not let me hurt myself. Jump! Jump!
He said, "Oh, oh my goodness, you know that hurt." Oh man, that's what he made me think about when he asked, "Are you gonna catch me?" He's like, "I'm gonna try." Like he wasn't gonna catch you at all. He was not gonna catch you. You were gonna have a situation just like that. You was gonna knock all the wind out of your system. You was gonna have no air when you got up. You was gonna be gasping for breath. He was gonna be in some serious pain. But yeah. Hopefully he got down. They set off the lunk alarm on that dude. And yes, a ladder would have been something to do. But how did you get up there is my question. Like, same way you got up, same way you get down. If you can climb up, then you can slide back down. Especially when you got on long sleeves. You can just held the pole and just slowly just all the way down. But I digress. But anyway, that was our fitness portion of the show. We're going to slide on over to our commercial. Well, I keep saying commercials. Our dark humor segment. We're going to go over to the dark humor segment of the show. And we're going to start this first one off with a commercial. And this commercial is going to be, let's see, where did it go? Of course. I always get my stuff mixed up and I always lose my gosh dang. There we go. Here we go. So we got our first commercial. Our first commercial is going to be... Uh-oh. Don't play that one.
The Salad Mixer by...
There we go. Didn't mean to play that one out loud. So the first one we got right here, this is going to be a... I don't know if anybody's familiar with the Netflix show about Jeffrey Dahmer. There's a Netflix show out. I think there's a Netflix series out about Jeffrey Dahmer. Well, somebody decided to make a commercial. And let's take a look at this commercial. Here we go. So we got bruh made a beer commercial out of Jeffrey Dahmer's Netflix series. So let's go ahead and check out how this commercial panned out. Here we go.
Cut off the brain and I gave my girl a new coupe.
Jeff, are you drinking a beer?
Who knew? I put the new forges on the Jeep. I traveled till the letter bottom was underneath. Cause all my homies got it out the street. I gave 100 rides inside my Jeep. I remember hitting the mall with my whole team. Now a homie can't answer calls cause I'm ballin'. I was waking up getting racks in the morning. I was broke, now I'm rich. I got them salty.
Oh my god.
Not with Jeffrey Dahmer, man. Not Jeffrey Dahmer out of all people. And I can't show it again. I don't want to show it twice just in case they try to hit me with a copyright for the song that was being played. But you can't make a commercial out of Jeffrey Dahmer, especially a alcoholic or a beer commercial. You're going to incentivize people that's drinking beer to go pull Jeffrey Dahmer acts, and that is not condoned. Shame on you, whoever made that video. Shame on you. Shame, shame, shame. That is just not a good idea. Don't be putting that bug in people's ear, man. That's not good at all. Like, that is crazy. I am shocked too. I'm shocked too. I'm kind of in disbelief why somebody would do that, but then again, it's the internet, so what better do they have to do? You know what I mean? So this next one we have somebody who decided to make a how do you say it? What is it? I guess a salad mixer. Basically, they found a new way to mix your salad whenever you make a salad, which I didn't think that was something that was needed, but somebody thought it was. And let's check out the innovative creativity of the salad mixer that these people decided to make. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and pull this up on a screen and check out the new salad mixer. Here we go. Whoops.
The Salad Mixer by Mixer Co. Ooh. Ladies, let me ask you, what does this look like? If you're gonna say the future of dinner preparation, you'd be right. Gals, how long would you say it takes you to make a perfectly mixed salad?
I would have to say at least 3 minutes.
5 or 6 for me.
About 40 minutes?
Well, what if I told you that you could make a perfectly mixed salad in just 30 seconds?
No.
The salad mixer is guaranteed to give you the best mixed salad you've ever had in barely any time. Let's show you. Carrots, let's get some of those in there.
Okay.
All right. Celery, don't mind if I do. And let's get a little exotic with some red bell peppers. Now, how do I mix it?
Do we pick it up and shake it?
It's far too heavy for a woman.
Well, I'd use a wooden spoon, but they give me so many splinters.
Good news, Porcelain. You can say goodbye to that old wood and hello to the mix stick. Just flip the on switch. Oh. And off you go. There we go. And it's easy to clean off. And there you have it. A perfectly mixed salad in less time than it'd take you to sing our great nation's anthem.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Homie decided that he found a new tool that you could use to make the new salad mixer. I mean, did you see the way he cleaned it off? Did anybody see how he cleaned it off? What's up, Kev? What's up, Rick? What's going on? What's going on, people? How y'all doing? Appreciate y'all for stopping by. What's going on? How are y'all doing? Did y'all see the way the man cleaned off his salad mixer? I mean, like,
there we go.
Look at him.
And it's easy to clean off.
He left it. Okay, look.
Easy to clean off.
He cleans it off, right? He cleans off the salad mixer.
There.
But notice that he never turns the vibrate off. It's still vibrating in his hand. Listen, just listen.
There we go. And it's easy to clean off.
And then he turns the vibrate off. This dude is an idiot. Oh my goodness, that is a dang shame. That is a dang shame, man. Oh man, Rick, what part of the good Lord, I can't talk. Rick, what part of the world are you in? Are you in the U.S.? Kev, I know you're in. I know you're here. Did you get bad weather where you're at? Did y'all catch any part of the storm, hurricane, or whatever that's going on? How are y'all doing over there? Oh, you're in Florida. Okay, cool. How are y'all doing over there in Florida? Like, are y'all catching this hurricane? Is this like tearing y'all apart? Are y'all getting hit heavy with some superstorms? Oh yeah, Kev said it's raining like mad here earlier. Yeah, we good. It's just rain for us. I mean, there's nothing like too bearing because Houston is I don't know about hurricane, man. I'm in Canada. Oh, that's right, Kev, you're in Canada. That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. Rick, you're in Florida. Okay, that's right. My bad. I forget. I know in Houston, over here where I'm at. I mean, I'm not in Houston. I'm in Austin, but Houston, they're flooded. They got a straight flood, power went out and stuff like that. So I was curious because I know that the storm went up and over. So I know the people in Florida got hit like crazy. Well, that's good. I mean, if hurricanes ain't bad, they were saying it's supposed to be like a Category 5 or some craziness like that. But hopefully everybody's okay. That's the main thing. That's the main thing, and that's crazy. And Kev way up in Canada, and they getting some rain too, probably from the same hurricane or whatever it is. Now ask me again in October. Yeah, true. Potentially catch the edge of it, it's causing weird weather, but we are safe here. A lot of my American families send me a lot of crazy vids. Dang. Well, hopefully your people are okay, man. Hopefully your family is good and everything. Rick, you as well, man. Hopefully y'all are doing okay, because crazy weather we got going on right now, man. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make no sense whatsoever how this weather's going on. But hopefully everybody is safe, man. Everybody's family is safe, because I even have family members who are in Houston. And, oh shit, what I got turned on? Oh, yeah, I got family members that are in Houston that are going through like power outages and flooding and stuff. And just, they've had probably power out for like 1 or 2 days. So, you know, like food and stuff like that. So it's kind of a shitty feeling. So hopefully everybody is safe and everybody's okay. But let me go ahead and grab this next one for us. We got a Doritos commercial. Doritos has a commercial that was banned. Let's figure out why Doritos got a banned commercial. Like, how did Doritos come up with a banned commercial? Let's go ahead and put this on the screen and figure this one out. Let's see if we can understand why. And let me make sure I refresh it, because I have a bad tendency to play stuff and then it doesn't get played through all the way because it stops. So here we go. Let me pull this back. I'm going to turn up the volume and let's figure out what's going on with this Doritos commercial. What? No sound available? Oh, no. I can't show this without playing the sound. You mean no sound available? That's bullshit. Let's try one more time. Okay, well, we'll play it with no sound. I saw Skittles one had me dying. All right, well, we're going to play this video with no sound. I don't think it needs any sound to understand what we're going to see. So check this out. Let's just watch the commercial. Just watch. Clearly, there's a Dorito on his lap. Uh-oh. Oh, no. He's trying to get the Dorito. Oh, boy. Oh, busted. Oh, no. Oh, man. What do you call that charge? Oh, no. Jesus, good Lord. What do you call that charge?
Oh, my God.
Oh, man. Oh, one more time. I'm sorry. Look at him. Look how he's looking at the Dorito on his leg. Look at his eyes. Look at him. Look at him. Look, he lick his lips. Oh, goodness. And then he goes in for the, oh my God. Oh. And then perfect time, and the cop has to be passing by. I don't know about you, but that cop looked like he wanted to join in on the fun. I'm sorry. Look at him. Look at that look on his face. He don't look disappointed. He's like, caught you at a good time. That's not a good time. Oh my goodness. Oh. If you could read his mouth, look what he says. Look at the guy who had his face in the other dude's lap. Read his mouth. Look. It's not what you think. Yes, it's exactly. Whoa, hold on. Without trying to look at panties. Oh man. Yeah, man, that is a huge L. And if that's your friend, don't let him ride with you no more. Don't ever let that dude ride with you no more. Like, y'all ain't riding together no more ever again. Let's see. I called in a drunk driver once. He was swerving all over. I was crazy. I was worried he was hurt someone. They told me to follow, so I did. When they caught him, pulled him over. I pulled off as well. I got to the window. I watched the cop laugh his ass off. Oh wow, the cop laughed his ass off. Turned out they were getting friendly. Watch. My man don't have no control over the vehicle when he's getting some road dome. He's getting topped off while driving and he can't handle it. Oh, come on. You got to be able to hold the driving wheel straight when you get topped off. Come on now. Come on. Don't be a rookie. Don't be a rookie. Shame on him. Give him a ticket for almost, swerving and then hitting people. If you can't handle roadhead, then don't get it. Don't get it. Ladies, don't give it to him because ain't no point can you imagine that crash? Can you? It's a shitty way to go out. But anyway, I digress. All right, so I found this commercial. This commercial is man up. If you can't get good Lord, I keep having stuff on. If you can't get roadhead, like don't do it. If you can keep a casual, if you can hold your composure while getting topped off while driving, then by all means handle your business. But you don't want to get roadhead and then you're driving and the girl's doing her deed and then she hears like she's gonna get nervous. She's like, oh, because she knows that you're hitting the yellow side of the road and stuff. Like it's just a bad situation. She can feel it when you're hitting the city titties and like she knows what's going on. Like, come on, man. Like, come on, control yourself, handle yourself right. She's trusting you, Shame. I know it is 9 in the morning. I'm just being honest. Like, hey, if you're gonna get roadhead, like control yourself, man. Like know that you can handle it. You know what I mean? If you can't handle it, like either pull off or wait till you get to your destination. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. Yes. I'm cooking for you boys. I'm cooking. All right, so check this out. I found this commercial. I'm not gonna say anything. I'm just gonna let y'all watch it. Check this one out, okay? I'm not gonna say nothing. I'm just gonna let it play. Watch. Here we go.
Oh my God.
What the fuck?
When I saw that, I could not believe that was a car commercial. I mean, I just didn't expect that to even happen. That was the last thing on my mind when I saw that commercial. I was looking at it and I was like,
What the fuck?
did I just watch? I mean, I was like, yo, what is this? Like, what is this? Is that a UK? Would that be a UK car? Is that Ford Sport? And then they said the Kai's evil twin. Like, come on, that's crazy. One more time. Azrian, what's going on? How you doing? Since you're here, Azrian, I want you to take a look at this one real quick. I don't think you got to see this. I want you to see this. All right, Rick, I appreciate it, man. I appreciate you for sure. Thank you so much. And I got a bug in my face. Azzy, check out this commercial. I'm not going to say anything, but here we go. Check it out. Now, Azzy, be honest. Would you buy that car? Tell the truth. Tell the truth. Would you buy that car? Did that commercial make you want to buy that car? Did it? Did you see that and was like, ooh, shit, boy, I can't wait to drive. Now, what if these... Now, you know we're going into the future with our self-driving cars and shit like that. Like, what if that's the shit we got to look forward to coming up? You know, they gave us a sample of what's to come in the future. Like, that's going to suck. Like, for real, for real. That's really going to suck. Oh, my goodness. The world we live in. The world we live in. That's terrible. That's terrible. That is so bad. But anyway, I digress. Let's go ahead and move on to the next one. So let's see here. What we got? What we got? Go back down. Okay, here we go. So let's see. The next one we got here. Our next one we have, okay. So, all right. So we have this young gentleman. Uh-oh, here we go again. Let's turn this off. All right, so the next commercial that we have here, we got a young gentleman who is on, it looks like the early form of a computer. You know, the early days is what it seems like to me, but still, whatever. He's on his computer, and I think he's gonna reach into his spank bank. If you ask me, that's what I think he's about to do. I think he's gonna reach into his spank bank and, you know, do the deed, if you know what I mean. But let's exactly see what's going on here. I don't want to accuse him anything, so let's see how this plays out. So let's check this out and see what's going on. It's in a different language. Oh. Massive L on that guy. Massive L. Did y'all catch that? Did y'all catch what happened? I'm gonna run it back one more time. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh my God.
Poor fella. Scarred for life. He was about to go to the spank bank on the computer, and turns out he was about to go to the spank bank on his sister. Boy, oh boy. That's why you got to be careful on the internet. Can't trust everything you see on the internet. Gotta be careful, man. You gotta be careful. That's... I know, right? Like, straight up. Didn't see that one coming. That came out of left field. Like, man. Like really? Out of all things that could have happened, you're about to go to the spank bank, and out of all the people you could be, you know, getting the thrill of your life to, it had to be... You can't be stupid. He said, "Oh, wait, hold on. Let me see something real quick. Hold on. I have to check out something real quick." That's hilarious. He told him, "Hold on, so I can see." That is freaking funny. Oh my goodness. Could you imagine going to the spank bank and then realizing when you got downstairs to eat some food, it was your sister you was about to go to town on? You was about to pull out the Jergens and just go mad on yourself, just go mad to town. Thank God he didn't complete the mission. He was about to, though. He was in full thought mode. I mean, he already had the dirty thoughts going on, everything. He was like, I'm about to assault myself, boy. It's about to get real brutal up in here in a minute. But then, you know, he got caught for dinner and he was like, oh, okay, gotta stop. And then bam, finds out it's his sister. Sad day for him, boy. I bet you he stayed off the computer for a while after that one. I bet you he was like, never again. Never again. But that's just to show you, you know, girls get out there getting down too, you know what I mean? Girls out there get down on the computer just like we do, you know what I mean? Nobody's innocent. It is what it is. It is what it is. So, you know, let it be. Let it be. Oh, crap.
They bullshitting us.
Okay. So we're going to pull that one back. We got one more for you. We got one more on the commercial, on the dark humor commercial side. All right. So this one here, I actually remember seeing this one. I actually remember seeing this on TV, and I'm not gonna lie. When I saw this one on TV, like live TV, I like laughed my ass off because I thought it was a joke. But this dude wasn't joking. This dude was not playing. He was serious. This guy was 100% serious. It was quick, straight to the point. I mean, he wasn't kidding. I mean, when you see something like this, you don't think, you really think like, okay, this has to be a prank or something. This can't be real. You know what I mean? Like this can't be something that is happening, but needless to say, it is. So let's go ahead and pull this one up, y'all. This is our last one for the, this is the last one for the dark humor section. So let's go ahead and check this out and see what this is all about. So here we go. It's very short, quick commercial. Here we go.
Look, if you hate cops just because they're cops, the next time you get in trouble, call a crackhead. I'm John Kennedy, and I approve this message. Look, if you hate cops just because they're cops, the next time you get in trouble, call a crackhead. I'm John Kennedy, and I approve this message.
Let's give Mr. Kennedy a round of applause. He wasn't kidding. He was not kidding about that message. He went straight to the point. That was a 10-second video / commercial. That man got straight to the point and got the vote. Shout out to him. I don't know what his slogan is, what his campaign was about. I don't know what it was, but I approve of his message. Run it back one more time. Here we go.
Look, if you hate cops just because they're cops, the next time you get in trouble, call a crackhead. I'm John Kennedy, and I approve this message.
Hey, he meant that with every conviction in his being. He said, call a crackhead. If you hate the police, then call a crackhead. Don't call the cops. Since you hate us so much, call a crackhead. Like, oh boy. Oh boy. Like, no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. He said, call a crackhead since you don't like us. Shout out to him. Shout out to Mr. John Kennedy for that one. Now, hopefully he won whatever it was he was doing. And hopefully he didn't put a bunch of bad things in place and made people's lives hard. But I'm pretty sure it was hard for people to be like, he's telling us to call crackheads. It's like, no, he said, if you don't like us, if you don't like the police, call a crackhead instead. Let them help you. You know, I mean, hey. I mean, he's got a point, you know. If somebody don't like you and then they call you whenever they need help, wouldn't you feel some kind of way? You know, if I don't like you, but every time I need help, I call you, wouldn't you like feel some type of way? Like, wouldn't you be like, why are you calling me? You know, like, seriously. So, yeah, that's that. But anyhow, that is it for our dark humor segment of the show. We're going to switch on over to the economy and see what is going on out here in this world. I'm going to make sure I gave everybody a shout out. I was supposed to. Let's see. Did we give everybody? I want to make sure I didn't miss nobody. Bam. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I don't remember. Did I give? I think I did. If I didn't give him one, I need to go ahead and do him right. Pause. Give him one right now. I think I did. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, Rick. Of course. So let's see. We're going to jump on over to the next segment of the show. And this is going to be, should I play that one? Nah. All right. So So we're gonna talk about the old strong flu 19 that happened. There were some people who had some things to say about it. This particular person, and you know, people always talk about a new world order that's going to be introduced, and you got to understand that there's stuff that comes with that, and it could be order into or what is it, order out of chaos, and there's a bunch of ways that they could go along implementing it. And one guy, he kind of explains his way, and this guy, he goes by the name of Charleston White, and he has like a character that he plays on the internet, but when he talks, he has a lot of truth behind some of the stuff that he says, and he put a nice twist on it. So let me go ahead and run this by real quick, and we're going to get into him, and then we're going to move on to the next one, which kind of tie in together. So let's go ahead and run this one. It says Illuminati introduced the New World Order. So we're going to hear his take, and then we're going to go on to the opposite end take. So let's go ahead and hear this one real quick. Let me get the sound on it right. Here we go.
So I gotta ask you, what do you feel happened to the coronavirus?
They bullshitting us. It wasn't never no coronavirus, because all of a sudden you ain't got to wear no mask. It's like, nigga, listen, I ain't been vaccinated.
They don't talk about the deaths no more?
Man, none of that, homie.
Trump ain't online every day,
yeah, homie. That was just to introduce the New World Order, I think. Yeah, I think that was just to introduce the New World Order, homie.
Gas prices.
Yeah, famine, war. Yeah, no. Now they hollering it's coming back on the rise. Well, where'd it go? Where'd it go? What's making it come back? No
explanation, nothing.
No, nothing. But they had to see. Yeah. They had to see if this could work. And
okay, so shout out to him for making that synopsis. So you give him a round of applause for that one. And yeah, of course, you know, he spoke on the strong flu 19, which at the end of the day, you know, a lot of people did lose their life from that stuff. A lot of bad things did happen from the strong flu 19, and it came with its, I can't even say ups and downs, but it did have a detrimental effect on certain demographic of people as far as like health wise, like, you know, if you were diabetic or if you were older or stuff like that. It did have an effect on certain groups of people, and it was very unfortunate for all the people that, you know, got hurt and stuff for it. But it was also like a test to see if everybody would listen, because it wasn't just like, hey, there's this I guess disease or virus going around, and they're basically saying like, hey, take this vaccine, and with it, it's supposed to allegedly cure you, but you turn around and you would still get the virus that you're trying to avoid. But in order to avoid the virus, you would have to get the virus. So in my opinion, I was like, well, why don't you just wait till you get it naturally as opposed to get a vaccine? Because if the vaccine is giving you the virus, then I'm like, well, where did you get the virus to give it to somebody? And then you turn around and have to give booster shots afterwards over and over and over. So it was really something that it seemed like was put into play, and it hindered a bunch of people. You know what I mean? It hindered a lot of people, because then people had issues with working, and then kids, and it was a whole big cluster, and it showed that a lot of people won't think for themselves. You know what I mean? Like, it showed a lot of people wouldn't think for themselves, and it caused chaos amongst a bunch of people, because, you know, you saw people fighting at airports and different outing events because you wouldn't wear a mask, and you have the right to wear a mask if you want to. That's your choice. And on top of that, Japan has always been a country that wear a mask. But the way Japan does it is they wear a mask to prevent giving you a sickness that they have. It never prevented them catching a sickness. It prevented them from giving you something that they have. So if you look at it from that standpoint, it was like you were walking around claiming you were already sick, which is crazy. But, you know, he had a good point on that one. And it kind of showed that people would listen without even thinking. You know what I mean? And that was one thing that I kind of looked at that from that perspective. It was like, man, like, it was a crazy time to be in. And then now that it's said and done, it's past, and hindsight is 2020, there's a documentary out. It's called Die Suddenly. I can't show nothing from it on here, but if you ever look at a documentary called Died Suddenly and you hear about a bunch of different doctors and people who've been in the field, you'll hear from doctors, and you'll hear from what do you call the people that work at the morgues? I guess a mortician. I think that's the name, right? They work at the morgues, and they cut the body open and do the embalming fluid and all sorts of things and find out the cause of deaths. The autopsy people, there you go. They would look inside the bodies and everything like that, and they would find out where they had these like worm type things inside of their like veins or arteries, and it had a crazy it had a crazy similarity that was going on all over the world globally. And if you sit down and watch that documentary, it's called Died Suddenly. It's kind of hard to find, but if you find it, sit down and watch it, and it'll give you a nice little understanding as to people who work in the field, their actual personal experiences on what they were seeing and what they were dealing with. All right. So now we see it from a citizen perspective. Now, well, I guess you could say a citizen, but like a regular everyday person perspective. Now we're going to hear about Mr. Biden. So we got Mr. Biden here, and he's going to talk to you about a second pandemic that's on the rise. I don't know how
slow down in the
new or
economic growth of a country.
Oh crap!
And at the same time, have it.
Stop it. He's going to talk to you about a second pandemic, but I don't know how new or how old this is, and I'm only going to base it off of how he looks. He looks a little bit more coherent here than he does today, but I'm going to let you hear him talk and hear what he has to say. It's the same with the flu. Those vaccines give you flu. I'm allergic to those vaccines, so when the 19 vaccination came out, I was told to avoid them. I'm 22. I was told I had it, but no results from any of the tests were shown to me having it, and I wasn't treated for it. Hey, so you're still good. You're still here with us, and you're still kicking strong. See? So yeah, so everybody had their different experiences with it, and it was crazy for them to try to push it on us. And oh man, she's in the ad. Ad break ends. Okay, so with that being said, let me see. Let me put this up. Yeah, let's see. So with that being said, there we go. So with that being said, yeah, it did have a lot of crazy outlooks that was going on with different people, and it just caused a lot of chaos and confusion, more chaos than anything. And a lot of the times it's hard to sit down and believe what you see on the TV, because they have crisis actors. You know what I mean? They have crisis actors that's on the television putting together this story that they want you to believe. And if you really pay attention over the years or over different periods of time, you'll notice that these crisis actors are actually like the same people, or they even have certain scenarios where crisis actors, they show how they act out scenarios for news channels, so you believe the news from what you see. But then when they say when they're done with the news, the crisis actors are literally just acting. They're literally doing just that. They're crisis actors. The whole thing is fake. You only believe what you see on the news for the segment that they have it, and then they go back to normal. And it's crazy how they paint the narrative, because the whole narrative that you're looking at is completely fake. It's crazy. So the back. Okay, cool. So now I'm gonna go on to the next video, the one that I just showed. I'm gonna go on to the next video, because I didn't start another video until y'all got back from the ad. Now we're gonna have Mr. Biden here, and Biden's gonna talk about the next pandemic. So let's go ahead and pull this up and let's see what he has to say. And like I said, this one, he seems like he was more coherent. So I don't know if he was 5 years younger, 10 years younger, whatever. But here we go. Let's let him talk.
COVID-19. The United States delivered 231 million doses of vaccines to 49 countries across Africa, and worked together with you to get the vaccines into the arms to hard-to-reach communities. Critically, we invested in Africa's capacity to manufacture its own vaccines, diagnostics, and therapeutics so Africa can meet its own needs and contribute to the global supply chain. And even as we work to end COVID-19, we continue building stronger health systems and institutions and accelerating efforts to achieve universal health coverage to make sure we're better prepared to tackle the health challenges, including the next pandemic, and there surely will be one.
This man said the next pandemic, and there surely will be one, with confidence. And like I said, he seemed way more coherent with that speech. Like, he seemed like he was like more here when he was talking on that one. You know what I mean? It didn't seem like the dementia had kicked in just yet. He seemed like he was like actually here talking, like he was actually reading the teleprompter very well. Like, he did a good job. Like, you know, like he was reading really good. So I'm about to give him a clap on that one. You know, he was actually here. You know, you can look in his eyes and like, hey, look, he's actually here. He's not gone. So, and for him to finish up at the very end and say that the next pandemic and it will happen is crazy work, because then he speaks on having a stronger healthcare system. And if you're having a stronger healthcare system, I mean, let's just be real. If you have a hospital, I mean, honestly, you're getting paid based on your customers are the people who get sick. So if you're building a stronger healthcare system, then that means that your business is just growing because you have more customers. If you want to have less customers, honestly, you would just simply figure out the diet and change people's diets at home so they won't have to go to the hospital. Because you know that old saying, an apple a day keeps the doctor away? I mean, it doesn't technically mean an apple, but it's a saying to say, like, you know, if you eat a healthy enough diet, you can mitigate your chances of going to the hospital. And that's basically what he's and what he's saying. He's basically saying, like, we're going to have a stronger healthcare system to fight off this strong flu. And it's just like, I mean, you know, like, we don't need a strong immune system, you know, because that's really how we are going to fight it, because our body already has built-in antibodies. Granted, yes, if you're older, that's a different story. I get it. And if you have different health issues, yeah, that makes sense. We get it. But you're basically saying, like, your corporations are going to grow stronger in the healthcare segment, and you want to push out more vaccines, and you made it seem like you care about Africa, when in reality, we kind of know that that's not a true statement. But then you end it off with, there will be a next pandemic. Like, how do you know that it's going to be a next one? Especially if you claim that you got the cure. If you got the cure, the vaccine is going to help people, then how do you know a next one is going to pop off? That doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense whatsoever. So it's like, it's clearly something going on behind the scenes that, I mean, if you just follow the money, that's really how I look at it. You know, follow the money, you'll always find your answer. You'll always find your answer. So then we have this next guy right here. So the next guy we have, he goes by the name of how do I say this correctly? Gorg Loros is what I'm gonna call him. I'm gonna put him up on the screen. This is back in 1998. This guy's name is this is off the Economic Archive. And this guy's name is Gorg Loros, if you can read his name up there. And he's going to speak on what we're experiencing today. But this was back in 1998. If you don't know anything about this gentleman, go check him out. You'll learn a lot from him, good or bad. But let's go ahead and let him talk, and let's see what he has to say. So here we go.
Can you have a slowdown in the economic growth of a country and at the same time have its markets keep going up?
Yes, I think
because it is something healthy about keeping the economic growth under control, or within, or in a sense.
Well, when you have less demand for money for investments, but you have an easing of the supply of money, then a lot of that money finds its way into the stock market, which leads to increase in the value of stocks. Might be excessive speculation in certain areas, which then you'll have to pay for later. But in the meantime, I think it's more likely to push prices up than down.
Did you catch that? This is 1998. And he's speaking on how you could have economic growth, but you'll slow the supply of money down. Let me run it back one more time so you can hear it, just to make sure you got it right. So let's let him here talk about this. This is 1998. So this is what, 26 years ago? And we're literally experiencing what he's saying right now. And he's saying that a lot of people is going to take some of that money and put it into stocks, which then in turn is going to increase the stock market, but it's all speculation. So in the meantime, since you know it's going to be big speculation and you know later on you're going to pay for that speculation, in the meantime, why not get money now while it's going up? And then if you're the big wigs, you know how the game is ran, pull out your money and let it crash. But let's let him talk one more time and see if what he's saying correlates with how we're living or what we're going through today with our economy.
Can you have a slowdown in the economic growth of a country and at the same time have its markets?
So you have a slowdown of economic growth in the country, but at the same time, its markets are going to keep going up. So
can you have a slowdown in the economic growth of a country and at the same time have its markets keep going up?
Yes, I think.
So nobody's spending as much money as they were, but yet the markets keep increasing. And that's literally what we're seeing right now, because not everybody has money to spend like they used to. You know, so the spending is slowing down, but the spending is happening on necessary items. But then again, the spending is also in a way people having that YOLO idea too. So spending might not be slowing down as much as we think, but it's a lot of like debt spending, like putting on stuff on credit cards. But let's let him finish.
I think
because it is something healthy about keeping the economic growth under control, or within, or in a sense.
Well, when you have less demand for money for investments, but you have an easing of the supply of money, then a lot of that money finds its way into the stock market, which leads to increase in the value of stocks. Might be excessive speculation in certain areas, which then you'll have to pay for later. But in the meantime, I think it's more likely to push prices up than of stocks.
So he says right here that a lot of the money finds its way into the stock market. So when you have less demand for money for investments, but you have
then a lot of that money finds
money is going to find its way into the stock market. So then a lot of people are trying to find a way to invest their money because they're going through a hard time. But when you're putting the money into the stock market, a lot of people are not putting their money into the stock market understanding how stocks work for the long run. Because you got to remember, you're going up with people who are in the stock market who've been playing this game for 30, 40, 50 years. So they're playing on cycles. They're playing on cycles. They're playing on ebbs and flows, ups and downs, expansions and contractions. That's what they're playing on. If you're jumping in the game, you know, as like I don't know, maybe I don't say a day trader, but just like somebody who's trying to find somewhere to put your money so it can grow, then that's, if you're going into the stock market and you're not understanding exactly where you're putting your money, kind of like how people were doing with Tesla a few years ago when Tesla, you know, had that big run for a while. Like a lot of that was speculation. It was a lot of speculation, which is what he's talking about. He's like, people are going to park their money somewhere and it's going to be in the stock market, which then is going to make the stock market go up. But a lot of it is speculation. None of it is understanding the stock market. It's just driving it up. And you're going to pay for that later on. But in the meantime, if you're a billionaire like him, he's like, well, hell, I'm going to go in and get this money in the meantime. I know to pull my money out at whatever time I need to, because me and my buddies are going to make it happen. And we're going to cause a major downturn when we do pull our money out. But in the meantime, We're just going to make money because we see everybody else is driving it up due to speculation, which they will pay for later, is what he's saying.
Into the stock market, which leads to increase in the value of stocks. Might be excessive speculation in certain areas, which then you'll have to pay for later. But in the meantime, I think it's more likely to push prices up than down.
Exactly. So you're playing in on, you're basically playing in on people's speculated bets, which, I mean, I can't knock you. That's not a bad idea, because at the end of the day, you shouldn't be speculating in the stock market anyway. But I mean, if you get lucky at it, then hey, you get lucky at it. Kudos to you. And he's speaking on what we're seeing right now. The economy is slowing down, but markets keep going up. Everything is still going up, but the economy is slowing down. People don't have as much money to keep up with the rising of your necessities, of your rents and of your foods and of your just everyday items. So we're seeing that, and we're seeing the tightening, and we're seeing what's going on. And he's basically calling it out. He's like, hey, at some point, like, you're going to pay for the speculation. And when you pay for it, a lot of the people who had a lot of money to put into the stock market, whether it be 50,000, 100,000, whatever, they're going to take a hit too. They're going to feel the effect of playing the speculation game in the long run later on. But in the meantime, get paid right now. You just don't know how long the party is going to go on to until it ends. So then we have the next person up here, Elon Musk, and he's going to actually speak on the guy we just looked at, George Soros. He's going to speak on him, and he's going to give his personal opinion on him. So let's hear Elon speak on his opinion on Soros. Oh Lord, here we go. I forgot. I got to refresh it. So leave me 1 second. Let's hit that refresh button real quick, and then we'll bam. All right,
I mean, Soros actually, you know, he is, I believe, the top contributor to the Democratic Party. The second one was Stand Back, We're Free. Yeah. So, and Soros, I don't know. I mean, he had a very difficult upbringing.
Oh, no. Didn't mean to do that. Accident. Sorry. Oh, no. Way to go, Danny. Let's do that again. Run that back.
And in my opinion, he fundamentally hates humanity. That's my opinion.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, well, he's doing things that erode the fabric of civilization. You know, getting DAs elected who refuse to prosecute crime. That's part of the problem in San Francisco and LA and a bunch of other cities. So why would you do that?
Was it humanity, or is it just the United States as a whole?
How much should good...
I mean, he's pushing things in other countries too, not just here.
Same thing?
Yeah. Now, George at this point is pretty old. I mean, he's not, you know, he's basically a bit senile at this point. But I mean, he's very smart. And he's very good at arbitrage. You know, famously, he shorted the British pound. That's sort of how I think he made his first money, was shorting the pound. So he's good at spotting, basically arbitrage, like spotting value for money that other people don't see. So one of the things he noticed was that that the value for money in local races is much higher than it is in national races. So the lowest value for money is a presidential race. Then next lowest value for money is a Senate race, then a Congress, and then. But once you get to sort of city and state district attorneys, the value for money is extremely good. And Soros realized that you don't actually need to change the laws; you just need to change how they're enforced. If nobody chooses to enforce the law, or the laws are differentially enforced, it's like changing the laws.
Okay, I'm gonna play that one more time because I know during it there was some loud noise that kicked in. So I'm gonna let that play again one more time all the way through so you can hear it. So let's go ahead and run that back. Here we go.
I mean, Soros actually, you know, he is, I believe, the top contributor to the Democratic Party. The second one was Stand Back, We're Free. Yeah. So, and Soros, I don't know. I mean, he had a very difficult upbringing. In my opinion, he fundamentally hates humanity. That's my opinion.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, well, he's doing things that erode the fabric of civilization. You know, getting DAs elected who refuse to prosecute crime. That's part of the problem in San Francisco and LA and a bunch of other cities. So why would you do that?
Was it humanity, or is it just the United States as a whole?
I mean, he's pushing things in other countries too, not just here.
Same thing?
Yeah. Now, George at this point is pretty old. I mean, he's not, you know, he's basically a bit senile at this point. But I mean, he's very smart. And he's very good at arbitrage. You know, famously, he shorted the British pound. That's sort of how I think he made his first money, was shorting the pound. So he's good at spotting, basically arbitrage, like spotting value for money that other people don't see. So one of the things he noticed was that that the value for money in local races is much higher than it is in national races. So the lowest value for money is a presidential race. Then next lowest value for money is a Senate race, then a Congress, and then. But once you get to sort of city and state district attorneys, the value for money is extremely good. And Soros realized that you don't actually need to change the laws; you just need to change how they're enforced. If nobody chooses to enforce the law, or the laws are differentially enforced, it's like changing the laws.
Okay, so we have Elon who was speaking on that particular individual, and he had his personal opinion on him. And of course, everybody's got their opinion on Elon as well. And you know, and at the very beginning of it, where he said right here, where he spoke on him,
you know, he is, I believe, the top contributor.
He said midterm spending. #1 billionaire donor spent $128 million on the midterms and primarily funded the Democracy to Super PAC. 10% of all PAC money was billionaire cash in 2022 midterms. Sheesh, 10%. That man dropped a bag. But then you have here the people commenting. So somebody said Elon is losing his mind. And he said, scary that there's people who defend this guy. Said somebody else says Elon is a joke. And then somebody says Elon has no idea what he's talking about. He says George wants destabilization in the U.S. Somebody else says California stopped prosecuting and crime skyrockets. Crazy how that works. And people keep voting these same people in if they don't want order at all. Any more Elon talking, I'm out of here. Somebody says, Elon says, Soros makes it hard for me to continue to make money off of other people. He must be mad. So you can look at this as a double-edged sword and kind of look at it from some of these people's perspective, because it's saying like Elon is just about the same way. But, you know, take it with a grain of salt or have your own opinion on it. It is what it is. But he's giving you an insight and an explanation on some of the behind the scenes work that nobody sees or understands. But then again, you can say Elon has his behind the scenes work because he's big in the AI segment and Tesla and all that stuff. So they could just be two of the same people working for the same agenda or battling for power of the same agenda. You never know. There's really no telling. You could never really know for sure until, you know, hindsight is always 20/20 and we play through it and look at it and look back and be like, go figure, you know, could have seen that coming. But at the end of the day, it's like you have all these situations going on, but the issue is that we're all dealing with the same problem. We just have an issue with looking up at the top. You know, we're always looking down at each other and seeing what's going on with you and me and him and they and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, if we just look up at the top and see what's really going on, we will really get our answers into the situations that we're going through in the hard economic times that we're having. And I'm gonna get one more guy to explain that particular person. This guy is named Patrick Bet David. I don't know if you're not if you're familiar with him. He's a really good speaker. He is what is this thing called? Valuetainment, I believe. Patrick Bet David. He's gonna speak on George Soros himself as well, and he's gonna talk about how he sees himself. So let's go ahead and pull this one up and let's roll that footage real quick. Here we go.
Soros's interview with 60 Minutes where he says, I see myself as a god. Have you ever seen this interview or what he says?
No.
Really?
He said he sees himself as a god.
Oh, my God. That's the one. This is the one. Okay, right there. It seems that Soros believes he was anointed by God. I fancied myself as some kind of a god. If truth be known, I carried some rather potent messianic fantasies with me from childhood, which I felt I had to control. Otherwise, they might get me in trouble.
Whoa.
Ask anybody who's from Hungary. Bring up the name Soros, see what they say about him. This guy's manipulated the market, currencies.
He's like a bad guy in a movie.
You ever heard Soros's interview with 60 Minutes where he says, I see myself as a God? Have you ever seen this interview or what he says?
No.
Really?
He said he sees himself as a God.
Oh my God, that's the one. This is the one. Okay, right there. It seems that Soros believes he was anointed by God. I fancied myself as some kind of a God. If truth be known, I carried some rather potent messianic fantasies with me from childhood, which I felt I had to control, otherwise they might get me in trouble.
Whoa.
Ask anybody who's from Hungary, bring up the name Soros, see what they say about him. This guy's manipulated the market, currencies.
He's like a bad guy in a movie.
You ever heard Soros?
All right, so speaking on that particular individual, the level of power that one individual holds, he manipulates markets and currencies. It's very, very strong if you're able as one individual to manipulate markets and currencies. Entire markets and currencies from one individual. And that's just to show you the power of economics. Economics can take down everything. You know, economics changes everything. It changes how people think. It changes how people move. It changes how people, you know, I mean, it changes the family structure. It changes everything. And if you have control of economics of a country or anything, then you are really in power without being in power. You know what I mean? Like, you're in power behind the scenes that nobody sees. And of course, there's got to be more than one of him, but this is one that we see. But I use him as an example because this is going to roll in to the next segment that I have. Well, not next segment, the next video that I have. In this video that I have, it's called it's about bankers, and it's speaking on bankers and the wars that bankers have. Let me see if I can pull up. It's called Are All Wars Bankers' Wars? And it's speaking on the power of banking and the power that these individuals have on a society, on the world in general, and explains how bankers use their power to influence and take down countries or to enslave countries. And you'll get a different understanding on what some people who were looked at as bad may have seen what most people didn't see, and was trying to fight back against something that we didn't understand. But one of the things that you're going to understand is that how banking gets a stronghold of a society, and how banking is used from a behind the scenes view, as like from a behind the scenes motive, I guess you could say, in order to control a country or a society. So I'm using that first guy that we just talked about as an example to see that, because he even had shorted a country's currency and turned around and came out victorious and banked big time on it, which I believe they're going to talk about. And this video, it's like a 45-minute documentary. I'm going to play like about 10 minutes of it, and I'm going to stop and interact as we go along, because I don't want to get, copyright. Plus, it's a long time to just sit and hit play on something, but we're going to sit down and talk about it as this one goes on. And this is going to give you a good understanding on economies and how markets work and how things are created and why they are the way they are, because you only see the surface and you try to get an understanding as to why this and why that, and things are inflating and this is happening. But this is going to give you the history of how these things work and what's causing these things to happen. It's banking, it's bankers, and you're going to see the influx and power that they've had in history, and you're going to get a good crash course on it. So here we go. Let's go ahead and pull this next video up. Like I said, and you can find this on YouTube as well. It's called Are All Wars Bankers' Wars? And you can sit down and watch the whole thing. It's very interesting and very informative. I advise you to sit down and watch it for yourself. It's only 45 minutes. We're going to dive into the first 10 minutes of it, and it is going to give you a great history and a good crash course on the history of banking, which a lot of people don't understand or know about. And you'll understand the power that banking and bankers have on a society and a country. So let me go ahead and pull this up for you, and understand that when you grasp the concept of bankers, you'll see how dangerous they really are. But let's go ahead and get this rolling. So this is, like I said, all wars are bankers wars. So here we go. Let's roll the footage. Like I said, we're going to stop and interject in between. So don't complain. If you do, oh well, get over it. I'm not trying to get a copyright strike, but I probably already am for whatever music was played. But let's get it.
That I wrote over the week.
Joy.
Now, I want to share a story with you, and this is actually an article that I wrote over the weekend called All Wars Are Bankers' Wars. And I went in, I did a lot of research. It's posted to the front page of whatreallyhappened.com. I understand it's already gone viral. It's being reposted around the web. But I wanted to basically tell it to you here on the radio show. And it's a very long story. We're probably going to take the rest of the hour to do it. But it's something that you need to understand, that all of these wars and assassinations that we're told are crazed lone nut assassins or weapons of mass destruction or bringing democracy, all of them track back to the private central bankers as the initiating event. And the more you study this, the more you will realize all the wars are wars for the bankers, for the private.
Did you hear what he said? You're going to track back assassination attempts, wars, everything. All these things that happen, you're going to track them back to bankers. You're going to be able to track all of that back to bankers. So all the things that happen, all your, you know, all your movements, your World War I's and twos, and your I mean, think of any kind of war you can think of that we've had. All your wars that happen in America, your wars that even happen in England, like all these different wars. This is a global thing. This is a global thing. So don't just think of it as an American thing. No, this is global. This is going to give you a world economic understanding of the stronghold that these individuals have. Let's continue.
The private central bankers as the initiating event. And the more you study this, the more you will realize all the wars are wars for the bankers, for the private central bankers. And I know a lot of people are going to have difficulty comprehending this. Just how many of these wars we have fought as a nation were fought for no other purpose than to force private central banks onto nations that did not want them. So we're going to have a few examples so you understand why at this particular time in history the United States government is mired in so many wars against so many foreign nations. And there's plenty of precedents for this.
So he said that right there. He said that a lot of wars forced themselves on private nations in order to control them. They use the war as a means to force themselves on private nations in order to implement their strategy, their tactics, their control, their way of economic stronghold.
Now, going back to the beginning, the United States fought the American Revolution primarily over King George III's Currency Act, which forced the colonists to abandon their own government-issued currencies and conduct business only using printed banknotes borrowed at interest from the Bank of England. If you go back to the writings of Ben Franklin, direct quote, the refusal of King George III to allow the colonies to operate an honest money system which freed the ordinary man from the clutches of the money manipulators was probably the prime cause of the revolution. Man from the clutches of the money manipulators was probably the prime cause of the revolution. That's Ben Franklin. Now,
so Ben Franklin said the refusal of King George III to allow the colonies to operate an honest money system which freed the ordinary man from the clutches the money manipulators was probably the prime cause of the revolution. He's explaining why the revolution happened. He's explaining to you. The refusal of King George III to allow the colonies to operate an honest money system, which freed the ordinary man from the clutches of the money manipulators, was the reason for the revolution. You always got to remember that old saying, give me control of a nation's currency and I care who not makes the laws. Forget who said that, but we're thinking that these revolutions were fought for freedom, but freedom how? Freedom how? Like how? Freedom from what? They want to be enslaved. Okay, enslaved how? How were they being enslaved? Economic slavery. And you can tie this all the way back to the Bible if you want to. Because that was the part in the Bible where they had to ask Jesus that tax question. You know, with the coin. And they asked him like, whose name or whose face is this on this coin? And Jesus didn't answer the question. He just responded to him, render to what Caesar Caesar's and to what's God is God's. So if you're going to use man's currency, pay man his tax. But if you're going to use God's money, operate with God's money. But let's continue.
Of the money manipulators was probably the prime cause of the revolution. That's Ben Franklin. Now, our public schools don't teach that because you're not supposed to know that the bankers were really behind the American Revolution. After the Revolution, the United States adopted a revolutionary, radically different economic system in which the government issued its own value-based currency so that private banks couldn't skim the wealth of the people through interest-bearing banknotes. So the American Revolution was fought primarily to free the American people from King George III's Currency Act, which ordered them to conduct all business using printed banknotes borrowed at interest from the Bank of England. So the Bank of England was just, raking in wealth from the labor of the American people in exchange for ink and paper. And that fueled the anger that led to the American Revolution. Your public schools don't spend a lot of time on that, but that was really what it was all about.
So the American Revolution was fought over currency that they were forced to use. They were forced to use someone else's currency in order to engage in commerce. And since they were using the king's currency, what could the king implement? A tax on the people. So they were fighting because they didn't want to be under the king's tax, because then if they're under the king's tax using his currency, he has an economic stronghold on the people, then he can enslave you however he wants to. Let's continue.
So the revolution was over, the United States was born, but the private bankers are nothing if not dedicated to their schemes to acquire other people's wealth, and they knew full well how easy it is to corrupt a nation's leaders. Now, just 1 year after Mayor Amschel Rothschild had uttered his infamous, "Let me issue and control the nation's money, and I care not who makes the laws," private bankers succeeded in setting up a new private central bank called the First Bank of the United States, largely through the efforts of the Rothschilds' chief supporter in the United States, Alexander Hamilton. Now, this First Bank of the United States was founded in 1791, and by the end of its 20-year charter, the First Bank of the United States had almost ruined the nation's economy while enriching the bank's owners. As a result, Congress refused to renew the charter and signaled their intention to go back to a state-issued, value-based currency on which the people paid no interest at all to any banker. This resulted in a threat from Nathan Mayer Rothschild against the U.S. government. Quote, "Either the application for renewal of the charter is granted, or the United States will find itself involved in a most disastrous war."
Did you hear that? People have so much power that they threatened the government to use their currency because the state was using their own issued valued back currency. These people said, no, use our currency or you finna catch hell. This is how powerful these people is. They're going against state governments and they're operating privately. And they're attacking state governments who are using currency, valued back currency. And they're like, no. In order for us to control your people, we need to be able to control their currency. See, we don't have to go in and we don't have to go in and strong arm the people. We don't have to go in and do like some apocalyptos type stuff where we go in and with axes and tomahawks and kill the men in your village and take your women and children. Like, no, we ain't got to do that. We know that if we can get you to use our currency, then once y'all are using our currency, I will give you my currency to use. And now that you're using my currency, I control everything and everyone. Let's continue.
End quote. Congress still refused to renew the charter for the First Bank of the United States, whereupon Nathan Mayer Rothschild railed, quote, "Teach those impudent Americans a lesson. Bring them back to colonial status," end quote. Financed by the Rothschild-controlled Bank of England, Britain then launched the War of 1812 to recolonize the United States and force them back into the slavery of the Bank of England's banknotes.
That's why your War of 1812 was fought. Fighting to enslave people to use a currency that they didn't want to use to enslave them back into their system. It's a currency war that we're seeing amongst bankers. But you don't ever hear or see the bankers. We see the people on the forefront. We don't understand the real reason of what's going on, but this is all banking and currency. This is all banking, the whole system. And this is created negotiable instruments, notes that they're making you use.
Or to plunge the United States into so much debt they would be forced to accept a new private central bank. And the plan worked. Even though the United States won the War of 1812, Congress was forced to grant a new charter for yet another private bank, issuing the public currency as loans at interest, the second bank of the United States. Once again, private bankers were in control of the nation's money supplied and cared not who made the laws or how many British or American soldiers had to die for it. So once again, the nation was plunged into debt, unemployment, poverty by the predations of the private central bank, and in 1832, Andrew Jackson successfully campaigned for his second term as president under the slogan, "Jackson and no bank." True to his word, Jackson succeeded in blocking the renewal of the charter for the second Bank of the United States of America. And this was where that famous quote came from Andrew Jackson. Quote, "Gentlemen, I too have been a close observer of the doings of the Bank of the United States. I have had men watching you for a long time, and I am convinced that you've used the funds of the banks to speculate in the breadstuffs of the country. When you won, you divided the profits amongst you, and when you lost, you charged it to the bank. You tell me that if I take the deposits from the bank and annul the charter, I shall ruin 10,000 families. That may be true, gentlemen, but that is your sin. Should I let you go on, you will ruin 50,000 families, and that would be my sin. You are a den of vipers and thieves. I've determined to rout you out, and by the eternal God, I will rout you out." End quote. Andrew Jackson. Shortly after the charter for the Second Bank of the United States expired, there was an assassination attempt on Andrew Jackson, and it failed when both pistols used by the assassin, Richard Lawrence, failed to fire. Later on, Lawrence explained the motive for the assassination by saying that with President Jackson dead, money would be more plenty.
So understand that Andrew Jackson, the president Andrew Jackson, was actually fighting to keep people from being enslaved in economic slavery. That's what the president was doing back then. Now, it's a different story. But back then, he was saying that if they get this stronghold on us, it's game over the rest of the way. He was fighting to stop it. And then they tried to hit him with some assassination attempts. They tried to get him with assassination attempts. He fought to not allow these people, he tried his best to not allow these people to enslave the country with their currency. That's what the president was doing at that time. That's what the president was doing at that time. Let me run it back.
This quote came from Andrew Jackson. Quote, "Gentlemen, I too have been a close observer of the doings of the Bank of the United States. I have had men watching you for a long time, and I am convinced that you've used the funds of the banks to speculate in the breadstuffs of the country. When you won, you divided the profits amongst you, and when you lost, you charged it to the bank. You tell me that if I take the deposits from the bank and annul the charter, I shall ruin 10,000 families. That may be true, gentlemen, but that is your sin. Should I let you go on, you will ruin 50,000 families, and that would be my sin. You are a den of vipers and thieves. I've determined to rout you out, and by the eternal God, I will rout you out." End quote. Andrew Jackson. Shortly after the charter for the Second Bank of the United States expired, there was an assassination attempt on Andrew Jackson, and it failed when both pistols used by the assassin, Richard Lawrence, failed to fire. Later on, Lawrence explained the motive for the assassination by saying that with President Jackson dead, money would be more plenty. So it was an assassination motivated by the interests of the bankers. Now, our public school system is as subservient to the bankers' wishes to keep certain history from you, just as the corporate media is subservient to Monsanto's wishes to keep the dangers of GMOs from you, and the global warming cult's wishes to conceal from you the fact that Earth has actually been cooling for the last 16 years. So it should probably be no surprise that the financial dimension of the Civil War are not well known to the average American. It's portrayed in our history books and our popular media as an internal dispute over slavery, but in fact it was a war with global implications. So
they tried to disguise it as an internal dispute over slavery. However, it was a global dispute over slavery. They tried to make it look like a race thing. It wasn't a race. They were enslaving everyone, and they didn't. And you couldn't see how they were doing it in the slavery. The slavery was coming from an economic slavery globally, not just a race thing where one race is enslaving another. It was a deeper. It was something much deeper going on underneath the surface. Needless to say, was there slavery, stuff like that taking place? Yes, there was. There was race slavery happening. Of course there was. You can't deny that. But there was a deeper meaning to it as well, because while you have the race slavery going on, that could be used as an alibi or distraction or deterrent to keep you from understanding and knowing what the real slavery was going to be. How the real slavery was gonna come upon, and it was coming in the form of economics. But let's continue.
Confederacy seceded from the United States with global implications. When the Confederacy seceded from the United States, the bankers once again saw the opportunity for a rich harvest of debt and offered to fund Lincoln's efforts to bring the South back into the Union at 30% interest. Lincoln remarked that he would not free the black man by enslaving the white man to the bankers, and using his authority as president, issued a new government currency, the greenback. This was a direct threat to the wealth and power of the central bankers, who quickly responded. This was his links once again saw the opportunity for a rich harvest of debt and offered to fund Lincoln's efforts to bring the South back into the Union at 30% interest. Lincoln remarked that he would not free the black man by enslaving the white man to the bankers, and using his authority as president, issued a new government currency, the greenback. This was a direct threat to the wealth and power of the central bankers, who quickly responded. This is a quote from...
Hold on. That was a hell of a decision to make. Listen to that decision that he had to make. Because we look at Abraham Lincoln as he was the one that freed the blacks, right? But listen to the decision that he had to make. Like, listen to this.
South back into the Union at 30% interest. Lincoln remarked that he would not free the black man by enslaving the white man to the bankers, and using his authority as president, issued a new government currency, the greenback. This was a direct threat to the wealth and power of the central bankers, who quickly responded. This is a quote from the London Times following Lincoln's issuance of the greenbacks. Quote, "If this mischievous financial policy, which has its origin in North America, shall become indurated down to a fixture, then that government will furnish its own money without cost."
Let me leave that up there for you real quick. I'm going to let you read that one more time. Give me 1 second, be right back, but I want you to read that. Okay, so let's go ahead and go over this one more time. So we're speaking on this mischievous financial policy, which has its origin in North America, shall become indurated down to a fixture. Then the government will furnish its own money without cost. It will print its own money without cost. Could you imagine? You have a group of people, or a nation, I'll just say, a country, a nation, using your money, your currency, and you get to print it at your leisure to use while they have to work for it. They have to work to get this currency. You can just print it out of thin air whenever you want it. Hell, you probably don't even use it. They do. You don't.
Indurated down to a fixture. Lincoln's issuance of the greenbacks. Quote, "If this mischievous financial policy, which has its origin in North America, shall become indurated down to a fixture, then that government will furnish its own money without cost. It will pay off debts and be without debt. It will have all the money necessary to carry on its commerce. It will become prosperous without precedent in the history of the world. The brains and wealth of all countries will go to North America. That country must be destroyed, or it will destroy every monarchy on the globe. So, goaded by the private bankers, much of Europe supported the Confederacy against the Union, with the expectation that victory over Lincoln would mean the end of the greenback. France and Britain seriously considered an outright invasion on the United States in support of the Confederacy, but they were held at bay by Russia. A little bit of history most Americans don't understand. Russia came to the aid of Lincoln's Union during this crisis. Now, at that time, Russia had just ended their serfdom system, and they had a state central bank similar to the system the United States had been founded on. Now, free of European intervention, the Union won the war, and Lincoln announced his intention to go on issuing the greenbacks. Following Lincoln's assassination, the greenbacks were pulled from circulation and the American people forced to go back to an economy based on banknotes borrowed at interest from the private bankers. So finally, in 1913, the private
They got them back into it. Little history we didn't know. Russia came in to help. Let's hear him say that one more time, because we're almost done. We got like 2 minutes of this left. So check this out. Let's hear him talk about that one more time.
Mean the end of the greenback. France.
So if they get Abraham Lincoln out of the way, that would be the end of the greenback. So Abraham Lincoln chose to use the greenback over their Federal Reserve notes. So now that there's a greenback being used, and not their currency that's being used, whatever their currency was called, I forget. But he's using greenbacks. If they can get rid of him, then the greenbacks will be out of the question, and they can go ahead and get control and power once again. But here we go.
The expectation that victory over Lincoln would mean the end of the greenback. France and Britain seriously considered an outright invasion on the United States in support of the Confederacy, but they were held at bay by Russia. A little bit of history most Americans don't understand.
So Russia held up France and, was it England?
Support of the Confederacy seriously considered an outright invasion of the greenback. France and Britain seriously considered an outright invasion on the United States in support of the Confederacy.
See, France and Britain, but they got held up by Russia. Russia held them up. Russia actually held them up in support of that action. It was like, no, you're not gonna go over there with that nonsense. Like, no, because this is not just a country thing. It's a global thing. They're going all over trying to enslave the global economy. So it's not, other people saw this coming. A lot of other a lot of rulers saw this happening, but we usually know these rulers as bad people as time goes on, not understanding the history behind what they were fighting for before we got to the point of where we are today.
But they were held at bay by Russia. A little bit of history most Americans don't understand. Russia came to the aid of Lincoln's Union during this crisis. Now, at that time, Russia had just ended their serfdom system, and they had a state central bank similar to the system the United States had been founded on.
See, the Russian understood what America was going through, and they even fought along Abraham Lincoln's side. They understood. They was like, you're trying to keep your own currency for your people. We understand that. We respect that. We commend that. And they even had their own situation going on too. They were operating the same way the United States were.
Now, free of European intervention, the Union won the war, and Lincoln announced his intention to go on issuing the greenbacks. Following Lincoln's assassination, the greenbacks were pulled from circulation and the American people forced to go back to an economy based on banknotes borrowed at interest from the private bankers. So finally, in 1913, the private central bankers of Europe, in particular the Rothschilds of Great Britain, the Warburgs of Germany, met with their American financial collaborators on Jekyll Island, Georgia, to form a new banking cartel with the express purpose of forming the third bank of the United States, with the aim of placing complete control of the United States money supply once again under the control of private bankers. Owing to hostility over the previous banks of the United States, the name of this third bank was changed to the Federal Reserve.
There we go. Now you have it. You got the Federal Reserve finally in the picture. So you see the history on how it came to pass, or at least how it came to be. So now you understand when you're looking at rulers and dictators, when you're reading your history books and you're seeing rulers and dictators, always try to play in the understanding of banking. Try to always understand that. Understand the power of banking and people using bankers' currency. Because if you're going to use a man's money, then that man has the right to tax you. Render to what Caesar's Caesar's and render to what God is God's. So they knew that. And you see, the banks got rid of, so when Abraham Lincoln got assassinated, the banks got rid of his greenbacks, turned around, issued their mode of currency and taxed them. Because remember, they were trying to get Abraham Lincoln to do it and say, hey, we're going to hit you with a 30% tax for using our stuff. Lincoln was like, no, I'm not going to free the black man and then enslave the white man economically, because then if I free the black men as slaves and enslave the white man economically, I'm making everybody a slave. I'm not freeing the black man. I'm enslaving them too.
In order to grant the new bank a quasi-governmental image. But in fact, it is a privately owned bank. It's no more federal than Federal Express. In fact, last year, the Federal Reserve successfully rebuffed a Freedom of Information lawsuit by Bloomberg News on the grounds that as a private banking corporation and not actually a part of the U.S. government, the Freedom of Information Act did not apply to the operators.
Did you hear that? Federal Reserve Bank is privately operated. They were able to drop a FOIA act. Somebody tried to run a FOIA on them, and they were like, no, you can't hit us with a FOIA. We're private. We're not part of your government. You can't bring your government tricks over here. I'm like, no, you can't request nothing from us. We're not a part of your government. We're private. You're contracted with us.
Of the Federal Reserve. So 1913 proved to be a transformative year for the nation's actually Bloomberg News on the grounds that as a private banking corporation and not actually a part of the U.S. government, the Freedom of Information Act did not apply to the operators.
Federal Reserve is private. It's not a part of the government. It's not a part of the U.S. government. So therefore, when they tried to hit them with a FOIA, Freedom of Information Act, they were like, no, we're private. You can't, we don't have nothing to do with you. You use our stuff, and we tax you. Simple as that. You needed our help, so we help you. You use our currency, we tax you. And we're private. We're outside of you. We have nothing to do with you whatsoever. So if you try to come over here with your laws, we are not part of your structure. Private.
Of the Federal Reserve. So 1913 proved to be a transformative year for the nation's economy. First, with Congress' passage of the 16th Income Tax Amendment and the false claim it had been ratified. Here's another direct quote. I think if you were to go back and try and find and review the ratification for the 16th Amendment, which was the internal revenue, the income tax, I think if you went back and examined that carefully, you would find that a sufficient number of states never ratified that amendment, end quote. That's U.S. District Court Judge James C. Fox in Sullivan versus United States, 2003. Later that same year, 1913, and apparently unwilling to risk another questionable amendment, Congress passed the Federal Reserve Act over the Christmas holiday in 1913, while members of Congress opposed to the measure were at home. This was a very underhanded deal, as the Constitution explicitly vests Congress with the authority to issue the public currency, does not authorize its delegation, and thus would have required a new amendment to transfer that authority to a private bank. But pass it, Congress did, and President Woodrow Wilson signed it as he promised the bankers he would in exchange for generous campaign contributions. Now, President Wilson later regretted that decision. You've probably heard this quote before, but you're going to get it again. Quote, "I am a most unhappy man. I have unwittingly ruined my country. A great industrial nation is now controlled by its system of credit. We are no longer a government by free opinion, no longer a government by conviction and the vote of the majority, but a government by the opinion and duress of a small group of dominant men." That was Woodrow Wilson writing in 1919.
In 1919, Woodrow Wilson said that I have unwittingly ruined my country. 1919. They were fighting this a long time ago. And then the nail in the coffin got implemented right there. And then it just, once they nailed that coffin shut, then they were able to do the okey doke and put the veil of deception across your face.
Rest of a small group of dominant men. That was Woodrow Wilson writing in 1919. Now, 1 year after the passage of the Federal Reserve Act, World War I started. And it is important to remember that prior to the creation of the Federal Reserve, there was no such thing as a world war. Now, World War I...
I'm going to stop it right there. You can go ahead and look at the rest if you want to. I just wanted to give you a deeper understanding on how bankers work with the economy. And if you're ever wondering why things are the way they are, it's because they are going as planned. And it's much deeper than who you vote for at the voting poll. It's a lot deeper than that. And this is something that you'll never ever, like most people you won't ever learn this at school. This is not something that you would just normally come across. And if you do come across it, kudos to you. You know what I mean? I'm just trying to use this as a ways for people to understand and get a deeper understanding as to what it is that's going on and why it's happening and what's the history on how it came about. Because it's really something that people need to know. It really is. It's really something that people need to know. People need to understand this and get a good grasp on this. And this is kind of just the surface of it. It gets deeper than this. It does get deeper than this. It does get deeper as far as understanding how the veil of deception is placed upon you. This gives you a backstory of how and who is controlling and what they use to control, but then it gets deeper into the deception of understanding how the game is played. Yeah. It gets deep. It gets deep, and it just gives you an understanding of the economics and how it works and why things they are going the way they are now, and looking at how long ago this stuff was going on and understanding why these wars were happening, who was fighting for you, and to understand that some of the reasons why some of these wars were happening that we think of were fought for this were really fought for that. So how long the lie has been going on. How long you've been lied to, and understand that it's not just the United States thing. This is global. This is a global phenomenon. It's global. It's not just one country. It's the globe. So hopefully that gave you some insight and value and some understanding today. I would like to go into my next segment, but I'm going to have to save that segment for tomorrow, unfortunately, due to time constraints that I have right now, that I got stuff that I got to take care of and I got to get done. But hopefully this video provided some good value and good context that hopefully that you could understand, some news that you could use, and you'd enjoy the humor that we put in at the beginning to get your spirits up and keep you smiling, and hopefully it helped you with the first portion of your work day, and hopefully it helped you out to get through with some of the stuff that's going on in your work days. So I greatly appreciate you all. Thank y'all so much. Do me a favor, if you're watching on YouTube, hit that like button. Where's the thumbs up? Can we get a thumbs up on the like button? There it is. Hit that like button if you're on YouTube. If you're on Twitch or Kick, hit the follow on YouTube as well, man. I greatly appreciate y'all. I'll have another show rolling out. We'll do another one tomorrow morning, of course. And with the one tomorrow morning, we'll go all the way through to our AI segment. Or maybe I could just do a show later on, just the AI segment, but that would kind of be short. But we'll go ahead and finish off right now with that part right there, and we'll save the next AI segment for tomorrow, and we'll come back early tomorrow with another one and finish all the way through with the AI segment as well. Just unfortunately my time constraints got me timed out, but I greatly appreciate y'all. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. I greatly appreciate y'all for watching, and just be ready for tomorrow's show. I'll put a time up to know what time that is going to start. I'll probably try to do it earlier I started like 7:45, 8 a.m. today Central Standard Time. I'm probably going to try to kick it off at 7 a.m. tomorrow just to give me more time to do more and say more that I need to say. So greatly appreciated for those who came in, who said hi. Thank y'all for stopping by and chat with me. Thank y'all so much. And we will be up out of here and we'll see y'all tomorrow. Peace.